Hello, today I thought it would be interesting to sit back and think about what happened during this year, personally speaking, compared to other people who did a vision board at the beginning of the year to settle their goals for the year and stuff. I was not that creative and I only opened my notes on my phone and I wrote down some of the resolutions I had for this year. This is a very ugly note on my phone, and I was done writing it on December 25th of 2022, so right before the beginning of 2023. I'm gonna put the screenshot of the notes on the screen so you'll have them right before your eyes. First resolution I wrote was to do walks at least 3 times a week. Well, I'd say that I've grown up realizing how beneficial those walks were for my mental and physical health, and they could be beneficial for everyone else as well. But especially for me, they proved to be positive for me in the past. I'd say that I started to follow that resolution in the second half of the year because I was forced to walk to my workplaces, and I've also been walking to the gym because my gym is in the centre town, so it's like 10 minutes away when I walk. Walking has grown on me, and actually I enjoy walking and listening to music or listening to podcasts with my thoughts. It's nice. It's a nice therapy for me in some way. I wrote work out at least 4 times a week, and generally speaking I have respected that goal because for many years, even if I was feeling bad mentally speaking, I have always tried to boost myself up and exercise because afterwards it feels so good to have a good workout and to sweat all of the water of your body off. At the beginning of the year I had a gym subscription, so I would go to the gym before going to my apprenticeship. So I was very motivated because it would be very tiring. I know how I did it, to be honest. And then I cancelled my subscription, so I continued exercising at home, and I have always exercised at home in the past, so that was not hard to do. And more recently speaking, I have decided to subscribe to another gym which is closer to my apartment, as I said, in the centre town, so not so far away from home. And that gym is nice. It's a bit more expensive than the other one I had before. I have been committed to go to that gym, and on the days when I don't feel like going out somewhere, I do a workout at home because I have some dumbbells and a mat and an elastic band. Another goal of mine was to eat more proteins because I had a mental shifts, and this year I'd say that at the beginning of the year I was more focused on being thinner, because in the past when I was younger I was bullied for being a bit, plumpy, and I was bullied for having curves. So it has always been a fight of mine, my weight. I used to be very hard on myself when I would gain weight or when I would eat something not healthy. But that year I have been trying to be less strict and feel less guilty whenever I decided to eat something sweet or something very salty, very greasy. Because I do believe that when you feel guilty when you eat something, it's your brain does something to your body, and in some way you gain the weight you were scared to gain. I'm not sure that it's a very understandable sentence, but I hope you had the general idea. I do remember that in the past, when I used to go to a shrink, she told me that it was scientifically proven that it's more possible that your body keeps the grease, the fat, the calories, and in some way it makes you gain the weight. It makes you gain the weight that you were scared to gain. And she told me that if you have a more healthy relationship with food, not in the fact that you eat healthy food, but if you don't feel bad for eating chocolate, for example, it's way better and your brain is sane and it allows you to eliminate the sugar things. Yeah, I'm kind of lost in my explanations here, but you may get what I mean. I can say that I have more or less managed to eat more proteins during this year, as I frequently bought protein powders. I know sometimes protein powders can be bad for your health, so I have been very cautious with the protein powders that I buy, and I have found one that is made in France, has good ingredients and is vegan. It's very hard for me to increase my protein intake, so I have tried to eat chickpeas or things like that, but it's not sufficient enough. So at the end of the meals, I would often eat a yogurt with protein powder in it, or as a snack I would do the same thing, or for breakfast I often had oat porridges with a yogurt in it and protein powder in it as well. Yeah, it can be tricky to make sure you have all the proteins you need as a vegan, or even when you're still eat meat, it's hard to track your meals and to organize your snacks and meals accordingly. Then, doing a bridge with the things I talked about previously during that video, I wrote less compulsive eatings, because in the past I suffered a lot from compulsive behaviors when it came to food, and whenever I felt in a bad place, mentally speaking, I would run to the cupboards. And for instance, when I was in secondary school and when I was bullied, I was not physically bullied, but I was, let's say, orally bullied, because people were being mean with their words, and because I was shy and because I was trying to be a good pupil, and because I was a bit plumpy, kids would be mean to me and say mean words. Yeah, so that was a vicious circle, and I tended to find and to seek refuge in unhealthy food, like Nutella spread for instance. Yeah, in the past years I suffered from bulimia, so it has been a long fight, these eating disorders, because I was not in a good place at work, and I was not in a work that I loved before I decided to quit the job I had. And yeah, I suffered from bulimia during that moment as well. I'd say that my mental state was connected to these compulsive eatings, but in some way it was also the fact that I was very scared to eat during the actual meals, and I was too restricted. I was being too restrictive in my meals. So in some way I was compensating the hunger during these compulsive cravings. Next, once again, in the eating topic, I'm sorry if it's a dark topic to talk about, but it's very important to me. It has been very important to me since I was like 11 or something, even when I was younger than that, for many reasons. I wrote light dinners, and that one is a bit sad because it's much connected to the other things I talked about before, the bullying, the bad mental state, and until September I had very light dinners, so in some way I respected that resolution. But at the time I thought that I would gain weight if I had normal dinners, so you know, with the vegetables, rice or potatoes or pasta or something, and proteins. And yeah, I used to think that I would gain weight if I had that meal. When I had my head concussion in September, it made me think about many things. Among those things, I thought a lot about my relationship with food, and afterwards I decided to be less strict with myself and to accept to eat more and to eat normally and healthily. Now let's move on to a lighter topic. I wrote post YouTube videos because I think that at the time, yeah, I had already posted a few videos on my YouTube channel, and I noticed that it made me feel content with myself. It made me have a goal to follow, and it's something that you do on the long term, and it has proven to be beneficial for my mental health, as in my videos I often talk a lot and get rid of my thoughts. It's a good therapy, even if I'm not that creative for editing or for my videos in general. It's something that I enjoy doing, and it's a therapy for me because, yeah, I talk about things I like, things I love doing, and yeah, I'm glad that I managed to stick to that resolution this year. Then I wrote apply more SPF. I'd say that I definitely applied SPF during the warmer days and when it was sunny outside during summer, but I'm ashamed to say that for the past couple of weeks I have forgotten voluntarily to apply SPF, even if it's still very useful during the grayer days and colder days. I mean the UV are still out and existing. I definitely have to apply SPF more in the next months, and it has to be a habit that I have to stick to. Next one, we have answer more often to messages, and I am ashamed to say that I am very bad at texting back people and at texting in general and at answering phone calls. For me, it's a source of anxiety, and I have never liked phone calls, for instance, even from my family. Have grown up associating phone calls with bad news, even messages, I guess, in my subconscious. And in the past couple of years, I have not been feeling too good, and when I'm not in a good mental place, I often neglect myself and neglect other people. But yeah, I'd say that I have been good at answering messages to for my closest friends, but for the wider circle, I have been really bad at doing it, and I feel very bad for it. But it's like a vicious circle, you know, because when you start forgetting voluntarily or not voluntarily to answer messages and to reply to people, you feel guilty and bad and horrible, and as days pass by, you feel more and more terrible, and you don't want to answer the messages. But I have definitely made a tiny bit of effort for certain people, and yeah, it's something that I still have to work on in the future. It's not something that I am proud of, to be honest. And it's not that I don't like the persons that talk to me. It's mainly connected to my mental being and my mental health. Then I wrote more journaling, and that resolution I have not respected at all, because I don't think I have written in my journal at all. Maybe once or twice, but it's something that I have neglected as well. Short parenthesis, I'm trying to make this short, but yeah, as you have guessed and as you have noticed, I have talked about my poor mental health during this year and in the past few years. And when I feel bad about myself, and when I feel bad subconsciously, I tend to neglect the things that could make me happy, make me better. Really a spiral downwards. I have many liked videos on my TikTok about good ideas for journaling and cute ideas. So one of my goals for the upcoming year would be to buy a cute notebook and fill it with thoughts or cute statements or lists of some sort. More reading. I have not really read more than before, and it's been very bad. It's all connected to those things I said earlier. Yeah, I have not read that much, and I have a gigantic pile of books to read, and I've been very bad at doing it because I have been pushing away all the good things for me. That's quite sad. Very recently, though, I have been trying to take some time really to read a couple of pages of the books I have. Like, I have been rereading again The Hunger Games, the first book, and I love it. When I was a kid and when I was younger, I was very good at reading quickly. I had a good working brain, so I was very intensely reading and acknowledging all the words that I that went under my eyes. But yeah, in the past couple of months, it was a very hard exercise to do, but I have to train my brain to do that again. More art and creative practice, again, not really. I've not really been able to take time to do that. It's something that would make me so much happier and so much content, and yeah, it's so relaxing, but once again, it's an activity that I have been pushing away and neglecting. This one is connected to the previous one. I thought about attending to art lessons, but it's something that can be quite expensive, and you have to take time to do that. It's quite a thing to organize in your weekly planning, so it can be tricky, but I know for sure that I would love going to activities like pottery or drawing lessons or guitar practice. I know I would love that. So it's something that I still have in mind for the future. Going back to physical health, I wrote drink more water, and I definitely did some improvements on that point, and I have been trying to drink more. I have made efforts to bring my water reusable thingy to work or to school when I was at school at the beginning of the year, and I love drinking tea and drinking coffee, so obviously there's water in that, but it's not pure water. But yeah, I'm a tea drinker for sure. I'm a hot drinker for sure. So there's water intake with these drinks. And obviously on the days when I exercise and I go to the gym, my water intake is increased, but I have to drink more on normal days when I don't do workouts. We are almost done. I wrote more skincare, like using serums or more specific creams on my skin, and it's something that I made efforts for. I have tried to buy more adequate things for my skin. For example, I have always been someone who applied basic cream at night or on the mornings, but that year I have at least made sure to buy serums, like hydrating serums. And last but not least, I wanted to get more knowledge about mythology. I have discovered that mythology is something that I have interest in, and I'd say that interest was launched when I was in uni a couple of years ago. I had a lesson that had nothing to do with the other courses I was in. Is that even a word in English? I don't know, because I was studying English, like history, grammar, and other things related to English, but that lesson was in French only, and the teacher was passionate about mythology, and I learned so many things and so many cool things about mythology, Greek mythology and Roman mythology, that resonate with our modern world. To me, it's so interesting to learn more about these stories and myths. In the most recent years after that lesson, my interest has been growing and growing. It reached a peak when I went to Paris in 2021 or 23. I can't remember, because I went to the Louvre and I was fascinated by the statues representing Greek goddesses, Greek gods. Yeah, I definitely have a passion for academic arts because academic art is deeply connected to Greek myths and often represents Greek mythological figures. On my trusty beloved cupboard there, there's a miniature. There's a small statue representing the victory of Samothrace, which is a massive statue in the Louvre, and I basically got the small version of it as a decoration, as a piece of decor. I also have like pictures or cards of famous paintings that I love. Most of them are academic paintings representing nude girls or nude boys with emotions, In the past, I often listen to a podcast on Spotify about mythology. It's held by a girl which is passionate about mythology and knows many things about that topic. It was so interesting to listen to, but I stopped listening to that podcast. I don't know why. I think it's interconnected with all the things I said before in that video about the fact that I have been neglecting my mental health and the things I love and the things that make me alive. So that's it for my 2023 Wrapped. It's not been that bright and that joyful, but at the time I tried to choose realistic resolutions that I could possibly stick to, but as you could see and hear, I did not respect a couple of these resolutions I made. For 2024, I will keep some of these resolutions in mind and maybe add some other ones. I probably follow the trends and do a vision board of my goals for this year and how I picture this new year. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to see you before the Christmas and New Year celebrations, but in the meantime, I wish you great celebrations. I'll see you in a future video. Goodbye.